Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel in the first place. Today we have Tamaki X Listener. It's Roses and Butterflies by Tama Baby Boy on AO3. The link will be in the description. Go give them likes, kudos, and all of those things, and let's go ahead and get into it. As a child, you were always littered with drawings. Some were your own creation, others your soulmates. The two of you became particularly good at depicting each other's favorite things. You often drew butterflies for your soulmate, and they often drew you roses, even before you were literate enough to communicate properly. As soon as you learned to read and write, you and your soulmate were talking every day. Your favorite mornings were those when you woke up to roses being drawn on your hand, along with a sweet good morning message. You never failed to add a message of your own, inking in some butterflies for your soulmate. You and Tamaki knew everything about each other: quirks, birthdays, interests, hobbies, secrets, and everything in between. You'd spent long nights writing to each other about your wildest dreams, and planning your future together accordingly. You longed for the day where you would finally get to meet him. Due to distance, the two of you opted not to worry until you were a bit older. You were fated to be with each other forever. What's a few more years when you have all the time in the world? You'd also chosen not to give each other your social media accounts. You wanted the first time you saw each other to be when you met in person. Both of you wanted to be heroes and wanted to focus on studies and training so you could get into the schools you wanted to attend. Of course, you still spoke every chance you got, your impending hero training a frequent topic of conversation. Tamaki was set on going to UA along with his best friend Mirio, who you had gotten a few enthusiastic hellos from over the years due to him commandeering his best friend's arms. Little did he know, you planned to move there to attend as well. It is the best hero school in Japan after all. As far as he knew, you didn't mind what school you went to, as long as you'll be able to lead a successful career after graduation. Each time he asked you about the school you were looking at, you dismissed him with an "I don't know," or some made-up excuse about looking at multiple in your area. Truly, you knew UA was the only school for you. Your plan to surprise Tamaki. You didn't want to get his hopes of the two of you going to the same school up, only to not get in, so you chose to keep silent. You worked hard on your studies and training and gave it your all on the entrance exam. After all, you meeting your soulmate depended on this. There, you felt an odd sense of familiarity with the boy you saw standing with his forehead pressed against a wall, a blonde boy next to him attempting to calm him down. You thought nothing of it. You returned to your hometown to anxiously await the results of the exam, hoping against hope that your dreams would come true, and you could not only attend the best hero school in Japan, but also get to finally have your soulmate by your side, despite having agreed upon waiting a little while. Both you and Tamaki would be lying if either of you said you didn't want to meet each other as soon as possible. Now that the opportunity was so close you could taste it, you would have a hard time letting go of it. You spent the waiting period writing to your soulmate. He was just as nervous as you were. You spoke of your anticipation as well, though you said your application was to a school in your area. As the two of you always have, you comforted one another with drawings of roses and butterflies. The excitement of getting into UA was only amplified by the gravity of the situation. Not only did you get into the school of your dreams, but you would be going there with your soulmate, who was excitedly writing to you about his own results. You shared his excitement, letting him know that you got into your school as well, and the two of you celebrated for your own dreams and each other's. You still couldn't believe it. You were finally going to meet Tamaki, after all these years of getting to know him without even knowing what he looks like. Not only that, but you would be training to be heroes together. You would be reaching towards your dreams together. The feeling of this realization was better than anything you've ever felt before. And you debated spilling the beans to your soulmate so he could share it with you. However, you still wanted to surprise him. It was difficult keeping the secret all along, and when you had to hold back from telling Tamaki all about moving, it was even more so. The two of you told each other everything, and it was tough holding back. Though you were sure the look on his face, a face you were going to see for the first time, once you met would be worth the wait. Through your constant conversations with Tamaki, you found that you were in the same class, making you even happier. The chances of that happening had been low. You could only thank the universe for your luck, already having thanked it for pairing you with Tamaki in the first place. As the first day drew near, you nearly cracked and told your soulmate of your whereabouts on a multitude of occasions. You ended up keeping it together though, and soon your first day as a UA student arrived. That morning, as you and your soulmate wrote to one another, you suddenly became worried. You knew Tamaki better than anyone, meaning you knew of his extreme anxiety. Would meeting you today cause him to feel even more stress than you knew he was already under? Would it overwhelm him? You decided to give him a cryptic heads up, closing the conversations with a "see you later" and a drawing of a butterfly. He was puzzled by your choice of goodbye. What did you mean you'd see him later? It was an odd wording considering what he thought the situation to be. Your anxiousness grew as you approached your classroom. It's highly likely that your soulmate is in there right now, and this thought both unnerved you and excited you, despite the fact that you wouldn't know which person he was until attendance was called. As you sat down at your assigned desk, you recognized the two boys you saw at the entrance exam, the blonde one speaking to the dark-haired one, who was currently hiding his face in his arms. On one of his exposed hands, you can make out some writing and a butterfly. Oh my god, it's him. Tamaki was the sweetest, most adorable human you had ever had the pleasure of conversing with, and he sure looked the part. You hadn't even seen his face, and yet all you wanted to do was hug him. You figured the blonde was Mirio. Tamaki had told you that he would be in the same class as well. Another wave of anxiety rushed through you as you realized that you couldn't back out on your surprise now, despite your soulmate's obvious discomfort with the current situation. You hoped that finding out you were there would put him at ease and help him enjoy this new environment, though you could never be sure. In an attempt to comfort him, you drew a few more quick butterflies on your hand. Though glancing across the room, you knew he didn't see them as he was still hiding in his own arms. When the teacher entered the room, the class grew silent. Sparing one last look at your soulmate, who hadn't yet risen his head, you turned your attention towards your new homeroom teacher. You were at UA to become a hero after all, not just to be with Tamaki. As roll call began, you grew even more nervous, knowing it was nearing your name, and your secret would be revealed. You began to chew on your lip and bounce your legs, not paying attention when your soulmate raised his head to signal his presence to the teacher. "Listener, here!" Tamaki's head, and Mirio's, excited for his best friend, whipped toward the sound of your voice, and as your teacher was calling the next name, you and your soulmate locked eyes. It was love at first sight. Really, you two were in love long before that, and had confessed to it many times. But this was different. You were laying eyes on one another for the very first time. You smiled widely at him, and he blushed and looked away, a small smile on his face as well. Forced to turn your attention to the teacher once more, you soon saw a message appear on your hand. "Is that really you? How are you here right now? I told you I'd see you later, didn't I?" At lunch that day, Mirio and your newfound friend Majiri couldn't stop talking about how amazing it was that you would get to spend all 3 years together at UA. All you and Tamaki could think as you held hands under the table, thankful to finally be able to do so, was 3 years and the rest of our lives. Alright, so that's the end of this one. I hope you enjoyed. It was pretty cute, so yeah. Music link, fanfic link, Discord link, and thumbnail art link will all be in the description. Go check them out. I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, whatever, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye!